Hey guys, welcome to the Fan Infusion podcast. I'm Lauren, and today we're going to be talking about Glicked. So, if you don't know what Glicked is, basically Gladiator 2 and Wicked, the movie adaptation, they both came out on the same day, and it's kind of similar to Barbenheimer when Oppenheimer and Barbie came out on the same day. Um, so yeah, basically Gladiator 2 and Wicked came out on the same day. And I personally loved both of the movies. I watched both of the movies, so I wanted to dedicate an episode to Glicked itself. I do enjoy the fact that people are now combining two movie titles if they come out on the same day. I think some people probably watch one in the morning and one in the evening or one in the afternoon. Um, Honestly, I wish I could do that, but I don't have the attention span for that whatsoever. But before I start the video, I'm just going to do a little bit of a disclaimer about the gap between the last video, and this one. So I just want to first of all apologize. I haven't really had time to just stop for a bit and film an episode, so I do apologize about that. I think the last one I filmed, I had COVID. I just come back from my Scotland holiday. I had blonde in my hair. It was very sunny outside. Um, Whereas now, honestly, I don't even know what month that was in. It was that long ago. We're now in February. It's going to be my 18th birthday very soon. I think 10 days. Yeah, it'll be 10 days because it's the 15th today. Um, so honestly, I've just got so caught up with college, exams, work placement, learning how to drive, just life, really. I haven't had a chance to just stop and dedicate an episode because um, Glicked was a thing quite a while ago. It wasn't recent, so it's kind of my own fault for that. But personally, I just want to say I'm very sorry for not getting anything out there. Um, I literally just haven't had any time, and to be honest, I don't know when the next one will be, or if there'll even be a next one. Just because I kind of have other commitments in my life that I don't have as much free time to dedicate to the podcast, which is sad. But at the end of the day, it's been fun, and I really enjoyed watching back things and seeing how the channel's changed and what I've added to it and what I've changed to it, even just to set up, for example. I'm not sure if I've done an episode since I got these new two posters, these two at the end. But yeah, I think this might be the first one. So I'll just talk about this for a little bit, I guess, since there's a change in the background. So I've always had the Loki one, so that's not unusual. I can't remember if I've changed it since. I'm pretty sure I have. I think I had like maybe a Spider-Man one or a Loki one. I think it was like Loki and Spider-Man, like the Loki official poster. But as you can see now, I have Harry Hart from Kingsman, and then I have Bucky from Marvel. Honestly, these might change up a little bit. I'm happy with how they are now. I made them similar to the Loki one, so I wanted it to be consistent if it was going to be on my wall. But honestly, I might switch out the characters. That is, if I do any more future episodes. So yeah, that's just a little moment of appreciation for the posters, because obviously when I'm stood here, you can't really see them completely. You can see them around me, but you can't really see them. Um, so yeah, I haven't had a lot of time to dedicate specifically to the podcast. Yeah, I've had a few changes in life, so different commitments. So sadly, I can't specifically. I had a lot of time before where I could be like, okay, I'm going to do regular posting, I'm going to film today, I'm going to get it edited, I'm going to get it sent out. So, it's disappointing because I have really, really enjoyed the podcast and I've enjoyed running it. But at the end of the day, you know, people's lives change, and sadly that means that you have to, change your commitments or change what you've been putting out regularly. Like for example, um my edit account that I run, I used to post like every day, and I'd get quite a lot of interaction through that. But you know life takes over. You you're learning new things, you're getting older, so I'm upset about it. But it's bittersweet. I mean, I think the podcast was going to come to an end at some point. I'm not saying it's completely come to an end, because maybe in the future I'll have watched a movie or seen a show or a musical or something like that, and I would definitely want to talk about it. An example for that is next month I'm going to London to go watch Much Ado About Nothing, which has Tom Hiddleston in it, which I'm very, very excited about. Um, because I think a lot of the Marvel episode was me talking about how Loki's my favourite character. So it's not ruled out that I'm never ever gonna do another podcast episode ever. But deep down I can't come on here and be like, yeah, I'm gonna be consistently posting. You're definitely gonna get a post in the next like 3-4 months because I don't want to promise something that I can't keep. Um, Although I would love for that to be the case, I really would. So let's get on to the actual topic of the episode. I know I talked briefly about it, but I've been talking and it's already like 5 minutes long. So let's go on to the actual topic. So I've just done a little bit of research. Glicked was a thing, but it was a crossover between two countries. So Gladiator 2 came out in the UK on November 15th. However, it came out in the United States on November 22nd. Wicked came out on November 22nd in the UK. So it kind of was a bit of a Barbenheimer, but it was between two different countries, which I actually didn't know, and I thought it was the same day. Clearly not. I didn't realize that Gladiator 2 actually came out that early because I watched it on quite a late date. I didn't watch it when it first came out, so that's really interesting. So it kind of was a Glicked Barbenheimer kind of situation, um, but across two different countries. But I still think that counts personally. So let's get on to my opinions on the movies themselves. So I watched Wicked first. I initially went to go see that with my mum and my sister. Um, Really, really amazing movie. Personally, I've been listening to the Broadway soundtrack for many years, so I think in a way I struggled a little bit to listen to the adaptations and the personal choices within the songs, like the timings of some of the songs and some of the lyrics. So, but I did really, really enjoy it anyway. Obviously, it's split into two parts over two movies. A lot of people are annoyed about that, but personally, I understand why they've done it. Just because obviously within the musical is Act One and Act Two, so I understand why they would split it over two movies. However, I do think having quite a big gap in between, I mean, it's kind of annoying for people who don't know anything about it and have just watched the first one. It's slightly left on a cliffhanger, and so I think people are more annoyed at the fact that they've got to wait for so long. But also, I think that adds to the anticipation of wanting to see the next movie, the next part of it. So I understand why they've done it. I think by the time the second one comes out, I think people would have probably forgotten about how long it's been since the first one, especially because at that point it'll probably be on streaming services or you could probably buy it. So I think you can buy it now to own on some online streaming services. So people can rewatch it whenever they want. So I do think yes, there's quite a big gap in between, but I think that you know the anticipation is going to make you going to watch the second one anyway. It doesn't really matter how long you've had to wait. Like you want to know what's happened. Um, so in terms of my personal opinion, yeah, I really, really did enjoy it. I think it was a great movie musical adaptation. I think some musical movie adaptations have been, I'm not going to say questionable. I think at the end of the day, you can't really compare. A musical is obviously live theatre. It's got musical theatre actors and actresses in, and it's live. The main thing is that it's live. It's on a stage, and you go, and it's an entire experience. Whereas when you're comparing watching a movie that includes the songs, I think yes, I understand why that's a comparison. But at the end of the day, they're two completely different things. Yes, it's going to be the same story. Yes, it might include some of the same songs. But at the end of the day, one's live theatre and one's like a full production movie. So a lot of people, I think, are stuck on the fact that, Some are very, very different from the actual musicals themselves, which, yes, they're going to be because it's a movie. So I wasn't hung up on the fact that I'd listened to the Wicked Broadway original soundtrack for years and there was differences because those choices were amazing. I mean, I'm not being funny, but the casting of Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande was just like honestly the most perfect. I know a lot of people had their doubts, especially with Ariana Grande. Obviously, with her coming from, well, yes, she did acting in the first place, but with being quite a big music person and being quite a large influence within the music industry, I think a lot of people were almost doubting that. But at the end of the day, she's been a huge fan of Wicked ever since she was really little. So I think, you know, people holding out the hope for her is only what she deserved. And she completely, completely just took on that role. Like, she became Glinda for the filming of it, and all the promotion. You can see how much they genuinely love the movie and the musical, and how they've portrayed those characters. I think is just perfect. I mean, Cynthia Erivo is incredibly talented. The riff she does in Defying Gravity. Honestly, I don't even know how a human can even make such an amazing noise. I don't even know how that's possible. I don't know what her breathing techniques are, but she needs to let us in on the secrets because she's truly outstanding. I mean, all the cast are. Okay, so now moving on to Gladiator 2. I watched it near its end of the time in movie theaters. I think I wanted to personally watch it because the cast was so amazing. Like, it's such a big cast. Um, I'll hold my hands up and say I hadn't watched the first one. Um, I spoke to my friend Caitlin and I asked her to give me sort of a summary about what happened. Then I went in knowing some backstory, but I also think going in not knowing too much made it a little bit more enjoyable because I sort of had to use my brain and figure out like what was going on. Because personally, I don't really enjoy like historical action movies. It's not my kind of thing. I haven't watched any really before. Um, like an example, the Titanic. I can't remember when I watched it. I think the last time I watched that, I was really little and I can't remember it. So that kind of genre of movie hasn't really been of interest to me. Like I didn't do history at school or anything like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of parts of history are really, really interesting, and I wish I had like the passion for it that some people do, where they know all the facts and they can tell you things, but that's just not me. So I went into it with quite an open mind. I will be honest, I did go for the amazing cast. I think the combination of people, I just wanted to see how that dynamic was within the characters. So I went in thinking, okay, not sure if I'm going to be a huge fan of this. Um, Not really watched anything like this before, so we'll see how it goes. Um, I sit down, I watch the movie, and I'm blown away. A lot of people really didn't like it. Really didn't like it. I'm gonna talk about another movie, a segment, just a short one at the end, which got a similar kind of view from certain people. So a lot of people didn't enjoy Gladiator 2 because they were comparing it to the original. The original came out 25 years ago, right? 25 years ago. I went in not knowing much about the original. I looked into it a little bit before, and like I said, my friend Caitlin, she told me some of it, which I really appreciated. And I went to go watch it with Caitlin, by the way. I didn't include that. And so yeah, I honestly didn't really know what to expect. Um, you know, it wasn't something that like the Roman Empire wasn't something. I know there's like that like joke online about the people think about the Roman Empire every day. I'm definitely not one of those people, but I was blown away. I mean, the set. I looked into it afterwards because I thought that must have been CGI with all the Colosseum and everything. But they built the entire thing from scratch. Like, whoa, it was amazing. It was so good. I mean, the cast were incredible. Such a talented cast of people. Um, and so, I came out thinking, wow, maybe I should actually watch more history movies or history based action movies because that was good. That was really good, and I actually really enjoyed that. Um, I specifically enjoyed Fred Heckinger's performance. I'll put a photo right here in case you don't know who that is. I'll show you a photo as well of his character in Gladiator 2. Um, Personally, I'd started watching A Woman in the Window in 2021 when it came out on Netflix, and he's one of the characters in it. Sorry, he's one of the actors in it. And I know he's been in Fear Street and White Lotus and a few other things since, but I haven't really gotten around to watching them. But he was really good in The Woman in the Window. And then seeing him again in this Emperor role, completely different contrast to what he was like in Woman in the Window. Um, Honestly, like so talented and like taking on such a big character like that, like an emperor, I think you sort of have to be in the correct mindset to take on that big of a role, especially with one of the main parts in the movie. And so yeah, I really really enjoyed his performance, but the entire cast was truly just like so talented, and it was all so accurate. I didn't feel like it was actors playing these roles. I felt like, yeah, I'd been taken back to that time in history and those events in history. And I think it takes a lot of talent and skill to make like the viewers feel like that. And so after the movie, I enjoyed it so much. I ended up watching the first one. I enjoyed that just as much, if not more. I think as well, it helped me sort of put some pieces together from the second one. I'm not going to say any spoilers just because, you know, I don't want to spoil it for anyone. I know it came out like in November, but if people haven't had a chance to watch it or anything like that, then I definitely won't be spoiling any of it. Um, but yeah, I really, really did enjoy Gladiator 2. Just a quick brief mention. I ended up going to see both of those movies twice. The first time with Wicked, like I said, I went to go see it with my mum and my sister, and then the second time I went with Hannah. The first time going to see Gladiator 2, I went with Caitlin, and then the second time I went with my mum. I don't think I mentioned this before on the podcast, but I, for some odd reason, don't watch movies once in the cinema. If I really, really enjoy it, I will watch it 2 or 3 times. Um, I don't really know why. I think it's because I enjoy the movie so much and I want to see it on a big screen like multiple times to get like all the details. And also going to see the movie the second time with someone who hasn't seen it already. I enjoy that just as much because I get to see like their reactions to something that I know that's coming up. Um, so I appreciate everybody that I just mentioned that I went to go see the movies with actually going with me. It means a lot to me that any of them would come, especially because I'm quite bad with the cinema. I drag people along to movies that I don't even know if they want to go see. So yeah, I appreciate you all a lot. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm just going to do this last little section, just about a similar movie that got the same, not reputation but reviews as Gladiator 2 did, similar with it being compared to other things. Spoiler warning now for Captain America Brave New World. Came out yesterday. So big spoiler warning. Please don't watch. I'll put a little time about when you should skip to, for when I'm not talking about it anymore, but I just want to do this section. So personally, I went to go see it last night, Captain America Brave New World. Um, it released earlier, I think, in other countries, but it released yesterday, the 14th, Valentine's Day, in the UK. I went to go watch it, and I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, genuinely, really, really enjoyed it. It was, don't get me wrong, it wasn't endgame level, but this is what I'm going to go on to talk about. Similar to Gladiator 2, a lot of people compared the first and second movie. And with Captain America Brave New World, I think a lot of people were comparing all the past MCU projects that they know and love to the new Captain America Brave New World. Yes, I understand to a point. It's a new character taking on a beloved character, but at the end of the day, I think some people need to realize like Marvel needs to move on with things, which I know is sad. And, there's always going to be a place in every Marvel fan's hearts for the original cast and the original movies and the original characters. But sadly, we do need to move on with things. There has to be a new generation of Marvel characters introduced. I mean, I'm not being funny, but the comics, they're so vast and so many different directions can be taken. And I just think Sam becoming Captain America was chosen by Steve Rogers. He gave him the shield in the first place. So I think people getting annoyed at it, I don't really get it. I don't really get it. It might be a controversial opinion, but I personally think his take on Captain America, with still the mixture of the Falcon and him as a person himself, I think it was really enjoyable. It was a good watch, and I know it's going to get a lot of hate, which is not. It's not the best, but at the end of the day, not everyone's going to like the same things. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to do that little section because I watched it last night and I wanted to make a little comment on it. But yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed it. Like, this is proof. I got a cup and a popcorn bucket, and it's got the Red Hulk on it. First ever collector's piece I've got from a cinema because we went to a fancy cinema. We didn't go to the local one, so I was like, I think I need to treat myself to some the fancy collector's things. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I know it's quite random in a Glicked episode, but I just felt like it deserved an honourable mention there. So thank you so, so much for watching this episode. Once again, I'm really sorry that there's been a delay in getting a new one out there, but I'm glad I did, and hopefully the future will hold a few more episodes. If not, thank you to everybody who's watched any of my videos or even interacted with my account slightly. I've really, really enjoyed every moment of it. Personally, I love just talking about things that I love and I enjoy and I'm passionate about. So I appreciate that people can take time out of their day to actually listen to that. I understand sometimes it can be probably very boring. So I do truly appreciate everyone who's ever interacted with my account. Um, and it's been a great time. I think this account's over a year old now, and I never thought that I would still be putting stuff out there even now, even though there's been a gap in between them. I didn't think I would still be making one. So, thank you all very much for sticking around, and there might be potential new episodes in the future, but if not, then I just want to thank you all so much. Um, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Bye, guys.